Morning television is usually light, bubbly, and safe laughter over coffee, easy questions, and celebrity charm. But when Meghan Markle sat on the This Morning sofa across from Alison Hammond and Dermot Oley, the atmosphere began to crack. Polite small talk quickly unraveled into one of the most combative interviews the show had ever aired. Allison tried to maintain her warmth. Dermot attempted to calm the waters, but Meghan's sharp, arrogant tone threw the studio into chaos. By the end, Allison had lost patience. Meghan had walked out, and This Morning had made TV history. The familiar theme music faded as cameras swept across the set. Sunlight poured through the studio's glass panels, bouncing off neatly arranged flowers on the coffee table. Alison Hammond's laugh started the segment. Good morning, everyone. Today we have a very special guest, actress, activist, former Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle. The audience applauded politely. Meghan entered, gracefully, hair in loose waves, walking with deliberate pose and a practiced smile. Allison leaned in for a hug, but Meghan offered only a hand, and the studio's energy shifted. Welcome to This Morning, Meghan, Dermot said warmly, gesturing to the sofa. Thank you. Meghan replied with clipped politeness. It's always interesting to be here. Allison laughed, brushing it off. We're thrilled to have you. You've been busy. New projects, appearances, headlines. Tell us what's going on. My focus is purpose, Meghan said, her smile tightening, using my voice to elevate conversation beyond gossip. Dermot nodded and tried to smooth the moment. And your upcoming project, can you share more? Of course, Meghan said elegantly. It's about truth, giving people a chance to tell their stories without being turned into caricatures. A faint chuckle ran through the audience. Allison pressed on cheerfully. That's wonderful. People are also curious. Life away from the UK, your new home, family balance. Are you happy? Happiness isn't a gift, Allison. It's a decision, and I've made mine. Meghan replied. Polite applause followed. Dermot moved to the next topic. But Allison continued, and Prince Harry, both of you have separate projects. How does that partnership work? You don't ask working men how they balance things with their wives. Allison, we both have schedules we manage. It's not complicated, Meghan said sharply. The studio cooled. Allison laughed nervously. Fair enough. People adore you both together and wonder how you juggle it all. Especially with the kids. We juggle privately. My children aren't morning show material, Meghan said firmly. A murmur went through the audience. Dermot stepped in quickly. Let's pivot to industry talk. There are reports about your Netflix series. Some say you asked for more money for the new season. Response. Meghan gave a short, almost mocking laugh. When a man demands fair value, he's a visionary. When a woman does, she's greedy. I don't chase pennies, Dermot. I command worth. Polite applause followed. Allison raised her brows, forcing a smile. And of course, people can't forget your comments on the monarchy. You've called it outdated. Do you still feel the same? Meghan crossed her legs, posture turning icy. Tradition doesn't equal righteousness. Centuries of history don't erase harm. I don't romanticize institutions that wound. The audience grew quiet. Allison exhaled slowly. Dermot adjusted his tie. Well, he said smoothly, that's certainly something to think about, though everyone knew the tension had only begun. Dermot cleared his throat. Let's dig into your creative side. Meghan, viewers are fascinated by your storytelling. Do you see yourself moving toward documentaries, scripted series, or writing? I don't box myself into categories. I create. Whether that scares the industry or not is their problem, Meghan said, her words polished, but tinged with condescension. Allison clapped once, a little too brightly. Well, that's very empowering, but of course, with storytelling comes responsibility. Some critics say your work is heavily focused on your personal journey. Do you feel that's fair? Meghan tilted her head, eyes narrowing slightly. When men make films about their personal trauma, they win Oscars. When women do it, we're accused of narcissism. Perhaps the problem isn't my storytelling, Allison, but society's bias. The usually lively audience sat uncomfortably. Quiet. Allison forced a chuckle, hands clasped tightly. I'm only asking what people wonder, Meghan. And speaking of personal journeys, how's Harry? He's so beloved here in the UK. People miss him. Meghan's expression hardened. Harry doesn't belong to anyone, Allison. He's not a souvenir Britain gets to miss like a postcard. He's a man, my husband, and he's thriving without constant tabloid intrusion. Even Dermot was startled by the sharpness in her voice. And the children, Archie and Lilibet, our viewers often ask how they're settling into life away from the palace spotlight. For the first time, Meghan's smile disappeared. My children are not for public consumption. The world doesn't get progress reports on them like their reality show contestants. Allison nodded, eyes flickering with unease. Of course, we respect that. Still, families at home often relate to seeing public figures balance parenting. It inspires them. Meghan let out a cold laugh. Perhaps families at home should focus on their own children instead of obsessing over mine. The audience gasped. Softly, the studio temperature dropped. Allison's warmth faltered, her famous laugh absent. She sat straighter, lips pursed, eyes narrowing. Dermot raised a hand slightly. Let's talk industry again, shall we? Those Netflix reports. Some say you demanded a higher budget for the new season. Was it about money or creative control? Can you clarify? Meghan leaned back, arms crossed. Clarify. I don't explain myself to rumor mills. Netflix knows my value. If the press is shocked a woman dares to negotiate, that's their scandal, not mine. Allison's jaw tightened. But Meghan, isn't it fair to say those negotiations keep your name in the headlines? You step away from the monarchy, yet still command global attention. Doesn't that contradict your desire for privacy? Meghan's tone dripped with disdain. Privacy doesn't mean silence. Allison, I didn't abdicate my humanity. I use my platform as I see fit. If people can't understand that, it's hardly my fault. A tense silence followed. Dermot shifted uncomfortably. Sensing Allison's patience thinning, she tried again. Softer, but surely you see why the public might be confused. You've spoken often about wanting peace, yet remain in the spotlight. Meghan gave a pointed stare. Peace doesn't mean disappearing. It means creating boundaries. If the public struggles with that, it's because they're too used to women being silent and compliant. The audience murmured, half approving, half disapproving. Allison's laugh returned, brittle and strained. You've always had strong words for the monarchy, Meghan. Looking back, do you regret any of it? Meghan's voice grew colder. Regret? None. The monarchy is a relic, an ornament polished for tourists while it crushes those within. I spoke the truth. I'll never apologize for that. The studio seemed to freeze. Allison's eyes widened slightly. Then she recovered her warmth, though the mask was cracking. Well, that's certainly one way to put it. Dermot tried to interject. What Meghan means is, but Meghan cut him off sharply. What I mean is exactly what I said. I don't need an interpreter. Dermot. The audience gasped again. Allison sat back, inhaling slowly, hands gripping the sofa's edge. For the first time in her career, her patience was visibly thinning. Dermot glanced nervously at her, then at the cameras. Right. Well, we'll take a short break in just a moment. But first, Meghan, what do you hope people take away from your projects moving forward? Meghan's reply was instant, confident, cutting. That truth has no expiration date. No matter how much institutions or morning shows tried to bury it, her words landed like a hammer. Allison's smile vanished, the warmth in her eyes gone. Her lips pressed into a thin line, and the spark that made her beloved by millions turned sharper, colder. Dermot caught the look and knew a storm was coming. When the show returned from the commercial break, the tension remained thick in the studio. Dermot plastered on a professional smile, but Allison's energy had shifted. The usual sparkle in her eyes was muted, replaced by calculation and frustration. Meghan, on the other hand, looked and faced, perched elegantly on the sofa as though she owned the room. Dermot leaned forward. Now, Meghan, before the break, you spoke about truth. And your projects always generate strong reactions, both positive and critical. How do you handle constant scrutiny? Meghan smirked. Criticism is often jealousy in disguise. People like to tear down what they don't understand. I've stopped caring about winning over the masses. If they can't rise to my level, that's their burden. The audience shifted uncomfortably. Allison gave a short, awkward laugh. Well, not everyone at home sees it that way. Some are confused by contradictions. For example, you've spoken harshly against the monarchy, yet people note you've benefited enormously from your title, your connections, your visibility. Meghan snapped toward her, smile gone, tone icy. Benefited? You mean survived? Do you have any idea what it's like to be chewed up by a machine and spat out as a caricature? The monarchy didn't hand me anything. I built who I am. My platform is mine, not theirs. Allison's face tightened. But Meghan, with respect, your global recognition came because you married into the royal family. That's what gave you the stage you're standing on today. Gasps escaped the audience. Dermot quickly intervened. What Allison means is... Meghan cut him off sharply. No, I heard exactly what she meant, and it's insulting. My worth isn't defined by a family tree. I'm not a hanger-on clinging to borrowed fame. Allison's hands gripped her cards too firmly now, yet you continue speaking about the roles at every opportunity. Isn't that still clinging? If you truly wanted to move on, why keep bringing them up? Meghan leaned back, posture dripping with arrogance. Because silence protects abusers, Allison. And if that makes people uncomfortable, maybe they should examine their own complicity instead of questioning my choices. The air snapped tight. Dermot's practiced calm faltered, shifting uneasily. Let's not forget, Meghan. Your projects also focus on charity, wellness, giving back. Allison's voice sharpened, warmth gone. I don't question giving back. I question how you present yourself as a victim while living in luxury. People at home are struggling. Do you understand how your words sound to them? Meghan blinked in disbelief. Luxury? Are we really reducing my lived experience to the square footage of my home? That's beneath you. Allison's voice rose. What's beneath me, Meghan, is the arrogance you've displayed since you sat down. Every question is an attack. Every criticism is jealousy. Maybe, but people are tired of being lectured by someone who claims to hate the crown but gladly wore it when it suited her. The audience murmured in shock. Dermot raised his hands urgently. All right. Let's. But Allison wasn't done, eyes flashing, tone fierce. You talk about surviving the monarchy, Meghan, but the truth is, you used it the platform, the spotlight, the global attention, and when it stopped serving you, you branded it toxic. You can't have it both ways. Meghan pressed her lips into a thin line. Looking rattled for the first time, she straightened her blazer, eyes narrowing at Allison. I don't need to justify myself to morning show hosts. I've lived a truth bigger than this studio will ever understand, Meghan said, her words dripping with disdain. Allison leaned forward, abandoning any pretense of bubbly professionalism, truth, or convenience. From where I'm sitting, it looks like you've milked every ounce of fame that marriage gave you, and when people pushed back, you painted yourself as a martyr. That's not truth, Meghan, that's performance. The audience gasped audibly, some clapping, others stunned into silence. Dermot stood halfway from his chair, palms out. Let's calm down, please, we're live. And this isn't, Allison snapped, directing her words at Meghan. Do you have any idea how offensive it is to sit here morning after morning talking to people who work hard for everything they have, while you sneer about being misunderstood all cashing in on the very system you despise? Enough is enough. The silence that followed was thunderous. Meghan crossed her arms tightly, chin lifted. Her voice, when it came, was cold steel. If the British public expected me to bow forever in gratitude for their scraps, They chose the wrong woman. I will never apologize for refusing to be silent. Not for you. Not for anyone. Allison exhaled slowly, voice trembling, but firm. Then, maybe this interview should end right here. I won't sit here and watch you sneer at every question. Meghan, this is this morning, not your personal soapbox. Dermot moved quickly, trying to salvage the segment. Let's take another quick break, but the damage was done. The audience knew it. The producers knew it, and Meghan knew it. The showdown had bowled over. And the next part would decide who walked out of the studio intact. The break was short, but didn't cool the simmering heat. When cameras returned, Dermot wore a strained smile, clearly trying to maintain control of a segment that had veered dangerously off script. Beside him, Allison sat upright, shoulders squared. Eyes blazing with anger and resolve, Meghan leaned back, arms crossed, chin tilted defiantly, daring anyone to challenge her further. Dermot cleared his throat. Welcome back to This Morning. We've been having a candid conversation with Meghan Markle about her projects and experiences. Meghan, let's try to steer this toward something positive. You've spoken often about empowerment. What message would you like to leave with our viewers today? Meghan's lips curled into a thin smile, voice sharp. The message is simple. Dermot, stop expecting women like me to constantly explain ourselves. Stop demanding gratitude for circumstances that came with as much pain as privilege. I don't owe anyone my silence, least of all a television audience. The crowd shifted uneasily. Some clapped politely, others whispered. Allison exhaled, shaking her head. Patience stretched thin, she said. Meghan, no one here is demanding your silence, but the way you've handled yourself today, dismissing every question, belittling every challenge, it's not strength, it's arrogance. Meghan raised her eyebrows. Arrogance? Perhaps you should consider that my refusal to bow to petty criticism is confidence, not arrogance. Maybe that's something you're not used to seeing in women like me. Gasps rippled through the audience. Allison leaned forward, voice low and dangerous. Don't you dare, Meghan. Don't twist this into a narrative about people being threatened by your strength. I've championed women my entire career. What I won't champion is rudeness, entitlement, and the complete lack of accountability. Dermot tried to interject, hands raised. All right, let's. But Allison's words thundered over him. Unstoppable. You say you hate the monarchy. Meghan, you say it suffocated you. Destroy you. But let's be real, you wouldn't be sitting on this sofa today if you hadn't married into it. You wouldn't have Netflix deals, book deals, or headlines. You used the crown when it suited you, then spat it out when it didn't, and now you sit here sneering at every question as though the world owes you something. The studio erupted in shocked gasps and murmurs. Meghan's face flushed crimson, her jaw tightened. How dare you suggest I used anyone? My marriage is about love. Allison, my life is my own, and if I've chosen to share parts of my truth with the world, that's my right. Allison leaned in, voice fierce. Love, then why does it always look like you're cashing in on your husband's name? Prince Harry, the man people actually respected before all of this circus, has been reduced to a sidekick in your brand. You talk about independence, yet every door you've walked through was opened by him. Admit it. You've leaned on his fame, and you've milked it dry. The words hit like a hammer. The audience gasped louder than ever, some even applauding. The bluntness, Dermot visibly panicked, trying to intervene. Okay, let's keep this professional. Meghan snapped, voice sharp as glass. I will not sit here and be accused of exploiting my own husband on national television. This is a disgraceful ambush. And frankly, Allison, it says more about you than it does about me. Allison didn't flinch. Her voice rose above Meghan's fury, clear and resolute. No, Meghan. It says everything about you. The truth is, you strutted onto this set with nothing but condescension, mocking every question, acting like you're too important to be challenged. Well, let me tell you something. This is This Morning, not your personal PR machine. and I won't sit here and let you talk down to us or our audience for one more second." The audience erupted into applause, some even standing. Meghan opened her mouth as though to deliver a final retort, but Allison cut her off with a raised hand. "Enough. This interview is over. You've shown exactly who you are, and this program will not continue to give you a platform for this arrogance." Meghan stood abruptly, yanking off her microphone, the wire snagging briefly before she tore it free. She looked down at Allison, voice trembling with rage. "You'll regret this. The world will see how you treated me today." Allison's reply was firm and final. "The world just saw exactly how you treated yourself. Meghan, don't blame me for that." With that, Meghan spun on her heel and stormed off the set, her heels clacking sharply against the floor. The studio door swung shut behind her, leaving a stunned silence. Dermot sat frozen, glancing between Allison and the cameras. Allison took a deep breath and faced the audience, expression softening with genuine regret. "To everyone watching at home, I want to apologize for what just happened. That wasn't the interview we planned, and it certainly wasn't the tone we wanted. But sometimes live television shows people as they truly are, and today, we all saw it." The audience erupted into applause, this time for Allison. Dermot nodded solemnly. "We'll be back after the break." The cameras faded to black, but the clip would not. By afternoon, social media would be ablaze with hashtags, headlines, and debates. Meghan Markle's disastrous appearance on this morning went down as one of the most shocking live television moments in British history.